This is a brief tutorial on the Delta Math verbal descriptions assignments. Several students have been struggling with just understanding how to put the answers into Delta Math, so this should help with those questions. So our first problem. At the beginning of spring, Jane planted a small rose in her backyard. When it was first planted, the rose was 7 inches tall. The rose then grew at a rate of 2 inches per week. How tall would the rose be after 8 weeks is one question you need to be able to answer. And how tall would the rose be after W weeks? So we're still thinking about the format of y equals mx plus b. You ought to be able to identify your initial value. What did that rose start out at? What was its height? So when you read your problem again, the rose was 7 inches when it was first planted. So that would be my b. The second thing we're looking for is our rate of change or our slope. In your problem, the rate of change is even shown by saying the rate of 2 inches per week. It uses per, it uses the rate of. That would be your m, or your rate of change, slope. So typically when we write an equation in math, our equation would be y equals the slope value, which is 2, followed by x, and then follow that by the y-intercept, which is plus 7. So we're going to use that equation to answer the first problem, the height after 8 weeks. All you're doing there is you're just taking that value of 8 and substituting into your equation for the x. So you're working the problem 2 times 8 plus 7. 2 times 8 is 16, and 16 plus 7 would be 23. So 23 would be the answer you would place in your Delta Math box for the height after 8 weeks. Here's where it gets a little tricky. The next part is the equation you need for the height after W weeks. We don't know how many weeks W weeks represents. It could be any number. So instead of writing our equation like we normally do over here with y equals 2x plus 7, we need to make sure that we use the variable that they have given us, that W for weeks, and you do not need to use the y. So we're going to take the y off. We're going to keep our 2, replace the x with the W, and keep our y-intercept. This is what you would put into the Delta Math answer, 2W plus 7. Tony is saving to buy a new phone. He already has $120 and can save an additional $8 per week using money from his after-school job. How much money would Tony have after 11 weeks of savings? Also, write an equation that represents the amount Tony would save in W weeks. So again, start off by identifying your initial value. So he already has $120. That would be my B in the formula of y equals mx plus b. Then he's also going to be saving an additional $8 per week. So that's important information. That is my rate of change. It is increasing $8 every week. So if I were to think about my equation in slope-intercept form, it would be y equals my slope, which is 8. Keep my x because it comes after the slope value, plus the $120 we already have. So savings after 11 weeks. All you're doing is taking your equation over here and doing 8 times 11 plus the $120 that you already had saved. 8 times 11 would be 88, plus the $120 that you already have. And so that total would come up to $208. That's what we would type into our problem, or our answer in Delta Math. The next question is our savings after W weeks. Again, this is an algebra expression. So we want to use the W, like the directions have stated, and write a problem. We're going to use this same information that we had in our equation we just wrote, except we're going to drop the y equals, and in place of the x, we're going to use the W. So that would be 8W plus 120. Reba is driving on a lengthy road trip. She currently has 14 gallons of gas in her car. Each hour that she drives, her car uses 2 gallons of gas. How much gas would be in her tank after 3 hours, after driving 3 hours? How much gas would be left after T hours? So again, identify your rate of change and your initial value. So how much did she start with? That's your initial value. She currently has 14 gallons, so that's your B. Her tank is using 2 gallons of gas as she goes, so it's using that. So that would be -2 for our M. That is our M. So again, if you're writing just a basic equation like we do in math, we typically write it in y equals mx plus b format. Our slope here is going to be -2 because she's using 2 gallons, and put the x after that -2, and your y-intercept is 14. So your question is how much gas is going to be left after 3 hours. So you're going to substitute that 3 in for the x. So that's -2 times 3 plus 14. -2 times 3 would give me -6, and -6 plus 14 is 8. That would be 8 gallons of gas, and that makes sense because her gas volume should be decreasing since her car is using gasoline. For your next part of your problem, you are needing to figure out how much gas is left after T hours. So again, we're going back to that original problem that we just created over here, and we're making an expression, so we're taking out the equal sign, we're taking the y away, so we're keeping our -2 slope. Instead of x, we're putting the t, and then we're putting our y-intercept like normal. So that's what you would put into your Delta Math answer. Finally, Tony went to the store to buy some baking potatoes. The price per pound of baking potatoes is $4.45 per pound, and he has a coupon for $2 off the final amount. With the coupon, how much would Tony have to pay for 3 pounds of baking potatoes? Also, write an expression for the cost to buy P pounds of baking potatoes, assuming that at least 1 pound is purchased. So again, identify that initial value and the slope. You have to do that every time. Our slope here, our rate of change, is 4.5 per pound. For however many pounds he purchases, it's going to cost him $4.45. So that's your rate of change, 4.45. The initial value here is the $2 off. That's what's going to be taken away. So again, it's off, so that'd be a -2. So if I'm trying to figure out how much it's going to cost him for 3 pounds of those baking potatoes, I want to substitute the 3 in. So my equation would have been y equals -2x plus, sorry, I wrote that wrong. It is y equals 4.45x minus 2. Okay, I need to take my 3 and substitute it in for the x. So that's $4.45 times 3 minus my $2 coupon. So 4.45 times 3, $4.45 times 3, that's going to give me $13.35 minus my $2 coupon, which would leave me with a cost of $11.35. So that would be the top answer in the Delta Math verbal descriptions answer. The next question asks for the cost of P pounds, which is an algebraic expression. It cannot be solved because you do not know how much the value of P is. So you're going to keep all your numbers the same, except we're going to drop off the y and change the variable of x. So we have our 4.45. We're going to use our variable of P minus 2. So that's what would go in that spot.